switch it on? Going to give this a 30-second warning. Councilmember Anderson, if you want to make your way back, we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to call to order this Gilbert Town Council study session for the evening of June 20th, 2023. We have a quick study session that Judy Martinez is going to present to us this evening. We apologize for the delay. We were in executive session interviewing for our Veterans Advisory Board. Judy, I'm going to kick it over to you. Chevelle, just one question. Is Councilmember Kaprowski on Teams already?
She is.
Okay, thank you very much. Judy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mayor Peterson. Mayor Peterson, Gilbert Town Council, it's my pleasure to present to you the recommendations of the Council Subcommittee on Board and Commission Processes. We'll go through this very quickly, but I'm more than happy to go back to anything or provide more information if requested. A little background, the subcommittee was activated on April 4th with Mayor Peterson serving as chair and Vice Mayor Tilke and Councilmember Torgerson rounding out the subcommittee. Their task was simply to review the current processes for appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. The subcommittee met on May 3rd and reviewed the town code regarding boards and commission, recent changes to the town code, a list of their active boards, the current processes, and known items for consideration. This is an overview of the application process. It's just a high-level overview. I won't go through each one, but this is an internal process. It's an administrative process that the clerk's office uses, but it's obviously open to suggestions. That's why we're here tonight, so we're happy to implement any changes that are requested. Once the application closes, the council is tasked with reviewing the applications, the video interviews if provided, and then the council submits their individual rankings to the clerk's office. Important to note that the rankings determine who gets in-person interviews with the council. The lower the number, the better the ranking. So number 1 is the first choice. It's a very easy ranking system. A cumulative number is determined for each applicant by the clerk's office. The top-ranked applicants are selected for in-person interviews, and the typical process is to interview 2 times the number of openings. So if there's 2 openings, the typical process is to interview the top 4 ranked applicants. All applicants are notified before the agenda is published, so that's those selected to be interviewed and those not. The cumulative scores are shared with the council at the time of the interviews, but not the individual scores. And the interviews are with the entire council. This is just the administrative process for after the interviews. The important thing to note is that the council makes the motion during a public meeting, and the appointments require a majority of vote of the council. And then the rest just outline kind of our process of updating everything, notifying the staff liaisons, and that type of thing. So why we're all here today, the recommendations. The subcommittee discussed the staff liaison's involvement in the screening. The recommendation was that no formal process is needed, but that the council liaison assigned to that board takes the initiative to speak to the staff liaisons just to see if there's any important information they need to share. If there's strengths and weaknesses of the current body, if there's any ideal background and qualifications they're looking for, and if there's any incumbent information they would like to share. We asked the council to consider their participation with the rankings. They did feel it was important that everyone continues to rank them. The clerk's office does want to extend more training to the council members if requested, or in further explanation of the ranking system. And we also wanted to note that the files will soon be shared in SharePoint versus Dropbox, which should make them more easily accessible. The subcommittee also discussed the methods of rankings, and their recommendation was to keep the current method. They felt that it was simple to use, there were no known issues, they were very pleased with the pool of applicants that come in, and they also liked the type form ranking method where you simply drag and drop the applicants in the order that you prefer. Another consideration was we asked them to look at if the incumbent should have a different process to reapply, and the recommendation was to keep that process the same. So the incumbent should have the same application and also still be ranked and come in for interviews. This is the most significant change. Currently, we extend a video interview link to all of the applicants. And the recommendation was that the group actually really liked those video interviews as a way to vet through applications. So their recommendation was to actually make the video interview mandatory. So that's the most significant change. It was recommended that the video interview is reduced from 3 questions to 1. And the question is listed there, but it's just a general question, a way for the applicant to kind of introduce themselves to you, for you to kind of get to know them. And again, it's just one step in the process to help you vet through those applications. We did consider if there was a low number of participants, that would really reduce your pool to choose from. So it was recommended that the clerk's office could extend the deadline for the video interview portion. And as a result, we would also open the recruitment earlier to allow for possible extensions. We also noted that the initial advertising should include that notice that there would be a mandatory video interview. And then the clerk's office can also offer assistance to any applicants that maybe don't have a camera or have technical issues. They could schedule an appointment to come in and get that done with us. And another big item of consideration were term lengths. So the code does state that the term should be 3 years unless otherwise provided by law, ordinance, board and commission bylaws, or articles of incorporation. What you see before you are the boards with 3-year terms. And probably what you're more interested in are those that have longer terms. So the Public Safety Personnel Retirement System local pension boards for police and fire, they do have a 4-year term that is defined in statute. The one that was, I think, of most interest to the council was the Industrial Development Authority, because they only meet typically annually and they have a 6-year term, which is quite long. That is actually also defined in statute. The Redevelopment Commission has a 4-year term, and that is defined in statute. So it's noted in the town code and in the zoning code, but it does reference the statute. The one exception that I found is the Planning Commission. There is a statutory reference under Title IX Cities and Towns for a Planning Commission, but it only states that members must have at least, that the board must have at least 5 members, which ours has more, that the terms are provided by local ordinance. And so there's no actual statutory reference for term lengths. The subcommittee did not at this point recommend shortening those terms. I think they wanted just more information. But it looks like we could shorten those term lengths to 3 years if that is the request of the council. But at this point, that seems to be the only one that does not have a statutory reference. And then just a quick note, on your regular meeting agenda this evening, you have an item to possibly approve 2 new policies. One is the Ethics Handbook, and one is the Code of Conduct. So we just wanted to note that if you do approve that item tonight, then we would add those items to the resources that are required for board and commission members to review. And that's all I have tonight. I know that I went through that very quickly, but I'm happy to go back to anything and discuss anything further. And obviously, we are here to implement any changes that you as a council recommend, so happy to help.
Thank you, Judy. Any questions or comments for Judy at this time? Then I think it looks like we're going to move forward with the recommendations from the subcommittee, from what I'm seeing here. Councilmember Kaprowski, did you have any comments on this issue?
No further comments. Thank you.
Thank you. So it looks like we'll move forward with the recommendations from the subcommittee. I think we covered all the topics that we were concerned about, and from the Planning Commission's perspective, I like that it's in line with the Redevelopment Commission, so I think that we're good with leaving that one the same, since we didn't specifically outline anything, but yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the subcommittee, and thank you all for your time.
I want to thank you for your time and all the changes that you've already made to boards and commissions, especially the drag and drop and everything that you've done for us to make it easier, and also offering your time for training for the council members, and also offering your time for folks that might need extra help doing the videos, the mandatory videos. So thank you so much for that. You and Chevelle and the whole team are doing a great job. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judy. It is 6:34, so I can adjourn that study session and move right into our council meeting